Hi everybody. Today I want to talk about the zodiac sign Libra and the equinox. So Libra is one of the four cardinal points of the zodiac, cardinal points being four significant turning points in the wheel of life. And they are signs Aries and Libra, marking the equinoxes, and Cancer and Capricorn, marking the solstices. So the word cardinal translates to hinge in Latin, and it's a point where things pivot and it's an opening to something new. Cardinal energy keeps things moving and also marks a new beginning. So, whenever the sun enters one of the cardinal signs, we see a season change. In the Northern Hemisphere, this looks like the spring. When the sun goes into Aries, we see springtime. When the sun goes into Cancer, we have summer. When it goes into Libra, we have autumn and winter when the sun enters Capricorn. So as I mentioned, when the sun enters Libra, this is a time also known as the Autumn Equinox here. As the sun is moving from the northern to southern hemisphere, from our vantage point of Earth is always what we're referring to. And the sun is essentially crossing the equator. In some Egyptian references, Libra was referred to as the sign of the horizon. Its symbol or glyph represents the sun setting below the horizon. There's this metaphor of crossing over onto the other side. And with this passing, as we have this passing, we have equal night. And the Latin translation of equinox is equal night. So we'll see this point of equal day and night. And though this balance is also very temporary, as this time goes on, we start to see an increase in darkness. So the symbology of darkness is that of the unconscious mind, what has been hidden from view, yet very instinctively felt. Also in the dark is that which shelters itself from the light. We have our repressed truths and repressed aspects of self, sorrows, also that which is unknown to us. And this increase in darkness is what allows reflection and where new awareness is birthed from. So this allows us to learn how to make proper decisions moving forward, this whole aspect of internal reflection and thinking about things in a different way. So with the crossing of the sun on the horizon, there's this doorway opened, and now we have this increased sense of duality going on. So choice is another reflection of the duality that we see in Libra. We also see duality in our inner and outer worlds. Libra is by design a yang sign. It's marked by outward activity, yet it is ruled by Venus, which is a soft yin, sensible nature. So Libra's outward through actions like active listening, holding space, and in particular, social participation, while still being magnetizing and cultivating in that Venusian way. So there's this equal intensity of inner and outer worlds, like our symbol we're seeing for equal day and night. So this brings us to the most common symbol associated with Libra, which is the scales. Whether we're weighing the crop of the harvest to determine the likely survival or not of the upcoming cold winter, or comparing weight of a trade to see if it's fair, or the weighing of the souls that was in ancient Egypt to determine one's passing into an afterlife. The scales hold great power, in the way that being in a position to be able to deliberate is a position of great power and great responsibility. We also see duality in Libra through the head and the heart. Being an air sign, there's this representation of the head and the realm of thought and concept, but again, being ruled by Venus, representing the heart. Libra is also symbolized as this balancing act we all have between the head and the heart, thoughts and feelings, logic and intuition, and also how using these two things together is more wise than just depending on one alone. Physically, Libra rules the kidneys in the physical body, which have a major role of attaining homeostasis in the body and making sure that there's a correct balance of minerals and water, and also removal of waste. And turning to the other side of Libra is Libra as the great advisor. When it accesses this place of neutrality, it is often associated with justice, being impartial, showing fair judgment, being able to see both sides. As the sun, our symbol of consciousness, has that moment of perfect balance at the equator at the time of the equinox. So Libra also stands for what is right. And I say that with the virtue of discernment in mind, being a higher way of seeing things, being able to decipher from what is right to what's actually right. I think it comes from having that strong sense of logic, but being also able to tap into an intuition and using those together. We have discernment when that happens. So this energy is also a big advocate for fairness amongst people. The justice system was designed under the premise that human beings have a right to fairness just for being a fellow human being, really taking the ego out of it, which is why the sun is thought to be debilitated in the sign of Libra. There's no me first like we see in Aries, where the sun has this exaltation. What is exalted or held in higher regard in Libra is the planet Saturn. As Saturn is fond of Libra's strong counsel and diplomacy, also keen awareness of consequence, which also sets it apart from its opposite Aries. There's this able to reckon with consequence, and usually the knowledge of consequences makes you follow the rules. And Saturn is that rule maker, like a standard setter. So even if it's your own rules, it's kind of following through on that. And after all, Saturn being the dimension of karma, and great balancer, we see it as this neutral force of cause and effect, and that would really enjoy the themes we talked about with Libra. So from all of this balancing, you have harmony and commitment. That's the byproduct of this balance. Libra utilizes Venus's energy to remind us that we are social creatures, and emphasizes the importance on community. What was once personal avenues become more relational here. Thoughts attain meaning when they're shared with another. And of course, societies are built through this common connection in value systems with other people. The most challenging aspect of Libra, and we all have Libra in our story, is rejection from the tribe. So survival is remembered as being largely a collaborative effort, and when that's threatened, there is a terrifying implication of what would once be death. And so there is this needing community to support survival and moving forward. So in Libran relationships, there is then a big emphasis on reciprocation, not only what I'm doing for you and what you're doing for me, but which is true, but also to really see another and to be seen by another. It's this archetype that allows people to come together. and allows them to come forward with unique gifts and offerings for other people. So it's that Venusian sense of beauty that is also finding beauty in another, and that comes with an ability to be able to hold space for others to come forward in their authentic selves. So Libra then is ruling both the parts and the unification of relational life. And it does rule over all contract agreements, marriage being the most obvious of mutual agreements and commitment between two people. In a sense, under these contracts, we're committing to and sharing karma with another. So here in Libra, there's also the breaking of contract and what that means to those who were involved in the original agreement. Any commitment is full of pros and cons, gains and losses. So there are both good commitments and ones that don't meet agreement, and Libra rules over all of them, meaning it is also a witness of the uncompromising, unfair, and poorly designed contracts between human beings. So, therefore, really fueling that fire of advocating for those that have been unjustly abused, used, or exposed by other. And you'll see that in Libra and any associated archetypes like asteroid Juno, fighting for rights and also against acts of domestic violence in particular. So as the start to every Libra season, there will be an opening for sure that brings in another dimension or feature into the relational principle of our lives. It is important, as always, to remember it is through the heart space that we are liberated, and through other, we are reflected. Dealing with that, you can't deal with Libra without dealing with Aries, and peace is the resolution of war being synonymous with disharmony, and that is Libra. So thank you so much for watching, and I will be back soon with another video.